All opposed? The ayes have it. I also need one amendment to the agenda. If you will look at 6E, and that is Lucky Star. Director Book called me and asked if we could postpone this to next month. The applicant's attorney had to be out of town for the birth of first grandbaby, so I was fine with that. So if we have no problems with that, we're going to go ahead and let the applicant leave, and then we will move forward. Perfect. Thank you very much. I'll now turn it over to Director Moyers to swear in the applicants.
All right, if you're here on any item that's on the agenda, if you're here because of an enforcement action, if you're here as an applicant for a beer license, please stand and raise your right hand. All right, do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're going to give today be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, be seated, please. And I'm asked to remind you that under the Knox County Code, any person lying to or intentionally misleading the county commission, its committees, subcommittees, or any Knox County board or commission authorized by county ordinance or state statute while testifying as a witness under oath shall be guilty of the offense of civil perjury, punishable by a fine of $500.
Thank you, Director Moyers. Clerk, if you can read the first item.
The first one is Fuji Japanese Grill, 10508 Kingston Pike, on premises District 5.
Anyone here from Fuji Japanese Grill? Well, maybe they didn't realize they needed to come down.
Maybe not. Do we want to add that to the end of the agenda? Okay, good to do that. If you can read the next item, please.
The next one is Pizza House, 1301 East Emory, Knoxville, on premises District 7.
All right, sir, if you'd give us your name and address for the record, please.
Justin Holmes, 1301 East Emory Road.
All right, sir, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Are you a resident of the state of Tennessee?
Yes.
Is the information on your application current and accurate?
Yes.
Do you understand that you shall make no beer sales to minors?
Yes.
All right. Have you or any of your employees at this location been convicted of any violation of the laws regarding possession, sale, manufacture, or transportation of intoxicating liquor?
Nope.
Or any crime involving moral turpitude within the past 10 years?
Nope.
Okay. Has beer been sold at this location before?
Yes.
Is there an outstanding license?
Yes.
Do you have
I do
it?
have the license, correct?
I'm sorry?
I do have the
Okay,
license.
great.
Yeah.
You'll turn it into the clerk.
Yep.
All right. Do you own the premises?
No.
All right. Does anyone else have an interest in the business?
No.
Okay. Who's going to operate the business?
Mainly me.
All right. Are you and your employees familiar with the Knox County and State of Tennessee beer laws and regulations?
Yes.
Do you agree to to conduct your business in conformity with them?
We do.
All right. Have you completed the server training program?
Yes.
Okay. Don't have anything from Health Department, do we, Kathy? Okay. Sheriff's Department?
We have nothing.
Codes?
Pending CO.
Fire Marshal?
Pending CO.
Sir, do you have a business license
Yes.
and certificate of registration?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from any commissioners? Seeing none, I'm going to turn this over to Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to make a motion to approve the application for Pizza House Incorporated as presented.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? None. The ayes have it. Good luck with your business. Thank you. Next item.
Next one is BJ Fruel, LLC, 2800 East Governor Johnsonville Highway, and that's District 9.
All right, sir, if you'd give us your name and address for the record, please.
Pankaj Kumar D. Sharma, 2800 East Governor John Sevier Highway, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37914.
All right, we're going to hear from the Sheriff's Department and tell us what the problem is, and then we'll ask whether you agree or disagree with what they've told us. So, Sheriff's Department?
On Monday, January 22nd, 2024, officers with the Knox County Sheriff's Office conducted an alcohol compliance check at BJ's Fuel located at 2800 East Johnsonville Highway. The defendant sold a White Claw Mango alcoholic beverage to an underage person without checking their ID. At the time, the defendant had not completed the alcohol compliance class.
All right. Sir, you've heard the allegation. Do you agree? Do you plead guilty or not?
Yes, guilty.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from any commissioners? Commissioner Ward?
I believe it was a White Claw mango.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I'm going to turn this over to Commissioner Frazier. I'm sorry, Commissioner Daley.
There we go. Thank you, Madam Chair. Sir, do you have the scan reader?
Yes,
that
we
they
do.
could-
Yes, we do.
And did they use it?
Yes, sir. Okay, I mean, like, this is not an excuse, but I mean, like, the employee was a new employee, and he was under training, and the person who was training, I mean, he just, like, went to use a washroom, and during that time, that things happened. So we have instructed all our employee, I mean, written memo, make sure, I mean, like, they do not bypass the date, I mean, without entering actual date from the ID. So we were trying to make sure that, I mean, that things doesn't happen again.
And that scanner is about, what, $700-800?
No, it's inbuilt in the register, so that comes with it.
Oh, it comes with the register.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you,
It's a
sir.
gas station, so.
Thank you.
Commissioner Daley, I'm sorry, that's in your district. Do you want Commissioner Frazier to do it? Okay, perfect.
Sharma, are these work- There we go. Mr. Sharma, this is your first offense, and you have the option of a $1,000 fine or a 30-day suspension. Which would you choose?
We'll pay fine.
You pay the fine. Motion to impose the fine of $1,000.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier. Need a second? Second, Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
The next one is Lee's Food Mart, 7608 Rutledge Pike, and that's District 8.
You give us your name and address for the record, please?
Wesley Lee, 7608 Rutledge Pike.
All right, we're going to hear what the Sheriff's Department has to say, and then we'll get back to you. Mr. Sheriff's Department, what's your report?
On Monday, January 22nd, 2024, officers with the Knox County Sheriff's Office conducted an alcohol compliance check at Leeds Food Mart located at 7608 Rutledge Pike. The defendant sold a White Claw Black Cherry alcoholic beverage to an underage person after checking their ID 3 times.
Sir, you've heard the allegation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. Do you have anything you'd like to add, or?
Just bad training and just unacceptable.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from commissioners? Seeing none, I will turn this over to, okay, Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Hey, this one will work. We'll switch here. I guess what's troubling to me in this scenario, according to the sheriff's office, is that the clerk looked at the driver's license 3 times. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I know I kind of get on a soapbox sometimes, but the state of Tennessee has made this idiot-proof for owners and managers of convenience stores to prevent you from selling beer to a minor. If the driver's license looks like this, you tell the person to get out of your store. You only sell beer to people who have driver's licenses that look like this. How simple can it be? And they looked at it 3 times?
From my understanding, yes.
And this is now your third offense?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any other questions? Seeing none, I'm going to turn this over to the District Commissioner, Beeler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Lee, is there any sort of automated equipment to check the IDs at your store?
Sorry. We've installed it. It was installed, but it was not active at the time. But they are currently scanning the back of the licenses. And we've instructed all of our district managers to anyone that does not scan is immediately terminated.
Okay, okay. So this is the third offense in a period of, it looks like 2.5 years. There hasn't been one since September of '21. Sheriff, do you know if there have been any checks of this location between September of '21 and January of '24?
There have been checks, and they have all been in compliance when we visited.
Okay, thank you. What is the third offense threshold, Mr. Moyers?
The threshold or the fine?
Well, the fine, excuse me.
It's $2,000.
$2,000, okay. Well, if anyone else has a different suggestion, I'm certainly open to that, but I'm gonna offer a motion that we impose a $2,000 fine. But I will say, if there is a fourth offense, I will move to revoke the license indefinitely. So that's my motion.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Beeler. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Next item.
Next one is Shell Gas Station, 7135 Clinton Highway, and it's District 6.
Sir, if you give us your name and address for the record, please.
Dipan Patel, 7135 Clinton Highway.
Okay, stand by. Sheriff's Department, what's your report?
On January 22nd, 2023, at approximately 17:18 hours, officers conducted a beer compliance check at Shell located at 7135 Clinton Highway. The suspect sold beer to an underage person. The suspect did not request identification from the underage purchaser and proceeded to sell.
All right, sir, you've heard the allegation. How do you plead on that?
Guilty.
All right, do you want to tell us what happened or give us your story?
Yes, so there was 2 employees over there at that time. The employee standing right next to the employee who sold the beer asked her to check the ID, but for some reason she didn't do it, so we have terminated her employment, and we have placed a new scanning system, which would be much better and efficient to check the date of births on future beer and cigarette sales.
Do we have any questions for the applicant? And sir, is your last name Patel? Yes, my name is. Okay, we just wanted to make sure we had that correct. What's the first name? Can you speak into the mic just a little bit? That's okay. It's not on.
It's Dipan, D-I-P as in Peter, A-N.
Perfect, thank you. We'll make sure we got that right. So seeing no questions, I will turn this over to the District Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. Mr. Patel, I see that you've had your license since 2012 and that your offenses did not begin until 2021. Would that have something to do with the pool of applicants available to you?
Actually, I'm representing my partner. So D.A. Patel, the name listed on here, the person who owns the gas station, I'm his partner at another business here in Knoxville. So at that time, his brother passed away in India. So he was in India from February to June. So when that 2 offenses happened, yeah, he passed away due to COVID back then.
All right, thank you. Well, as required by law, since this is your third offense, we have the option of offering you either a $2,000 fine or 90-day suspension of your license.
We will pay the fine.
All right, I make a motion then that we fine them $2,000.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Next item, please.
Next one is Kenjo, 8901 Oak Ridge Highway, and it's District 6.
All right, sir, if you give us your name and address for the record, please.
Jimmy McBrayer, 8901 Oak Ridge Highway.
All right, Sheriff's Department, tell us your report, please.
On January 22nd, 2024, at 18:47 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Office Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an alcohol compliance check at several Knox County businesses. The 19-year-old entered Kencho, located at 8901 Oak Ridge Highway, and selected a six-pack of Bud Light beer and then went to the register. The cashier defendant asked the underage person when was his birthday and never asked to see his ID. The suspect asked the underage person if he was a cop and that she could get fired, and sold him the beer.
Sir, you've heard the allegations. How do you
Guilty.
plead?
Guilty.
All right, do you want to tell us your story, what happened?
Well, number one, I'm appalled that I'm back here, so much so that I made a couple telephone calls before this event. I talked to Mrs. Hill about the events and how they happened, and we're appalled at what happened. As I stood before you the last time, I talked to you about us being a responsible vendor, about all the training that we do. I brought all this documentation again if you want to see it. We do adhere to the training that the state of Tennessee requires. We even go up and above and beyond that with monthly meetings, daily meetings, and I've got all that documentation here. And as I said before, it's a willful decision by employees that just don't care, and that's what happened.
All right,
Number two.
let me just stop you for a second. So you say that you've been certified by the state as a responsible vendor?
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so number two, we have reorganized our management structure, if you will. The manager that was at that store is no longer at that store. We have put one of our district managers in that store who is a training manager. So just that step alone should help. Number two, I think, I can't see the name, but he said this system should be idiot-proof, and you're exactly right. We scan every driver's license for the sale of alcohol. We've even taken another step that if for whatever reason a sale of alcohol is not scanned, we have a log now, we just started this after this event, that every sale of alcohol has to be put into this log. There will be no sale of alcohol at this location unless that ID is scanned or it is put in that book and the manager is checking it daily.
To the beer board, I'd like to point out, we don't get many of these, but there is a section regarding responsible vendors, and it limits the penalty to $1,000 per offense when they're a responsible vendor. Their license cannot be revoked unless they have 2 offenses within a 12-month period, and the state has revoked their responsible vendor certificate. So in this particular case, since he's a responsible vendor, since I assume the state has not revoked your responsible vendor status, any punishment in this case is limited to a $1,000 fine.
Thank you for that information. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Law Director, they've had 2 offenses in the last, 62 or 65 days?
Within 2 months, we had 2 events.
So it's not been more than 12 months?
No, it hasn't been, but.
So less than?
It's
less than
2
6?
it's 2 violations within 12-month period, and then only after the State Alcoholic Beverage Commission revokes the permittee's status as a responsible vendor. So those 2 steps have to happen before you could consider revocation of this license.
Okay, so how does the Alcohol Beverage Commission revoke a license then in this case? Do they have to be reported because of this incident?
I would assume so. I've never had any dealings with that, so I don't know. But I presume if they became aware of it and felt it was egregious enough, they would consider that.
Okay. Well, and your company's always been first class on everything that they do. And I know you're very, very disappointed.
Very.
And of course, obviously, we're disappointed because it's a back-to-back offense, basically. So, but we'll follow what the rules are.
Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Moyers, can you repeat the fine? Is it $1,000 per offense cumulatively or just for the one?
No, it's $1,000 for each offense for making or permitting beer sales to minors. I would assume he's been fined before for these previous
Last time I was
incidences.
there.
So it's just $1,000 for each offense as it comes up. So you're limited today to $1,000 based on the statute.
Just so I'm clear, tell me again what the special pass holder program is?
Okay, it's called the Responsible Vendor Program. We don't see it very often, honestly, up here, but there's I don't have it to go into, but there's a series of steps they have to take to get certified by the state as a responsible vendor. And so long as they have that status, the statute says that the county commission shall not, pursuant to TCA 575608, revoke or suspend the permit of a responsible vendor for a clerk's illegal sale of beer to a minor if the vendor and the clerk making the sale have complied with requirements of 575606 as a responsible vendor under that part, but may impose upon the responsible vendor a civil penalty not to exceed $1,000 for each offense of making or permitting to be made sales to minors or any violation in this article or state law. So.
Did you pay, if you'll, I think we all know what your penalty is going to be, but if you'll just allow me a second, do you pay for this privilege, this responsible?
Yes, we do.
How much is the?
I'd have to get back with accounting. I have no idea. What I do know is that folks from, I'm Vice President of Operations, from that level down, we're tested constantly on all the laws that do.
Yeah, no, this piques my interest because let's say it's $200 to become a responsible vendor, or $500, or even $1,000. Every beer permit holder could essentially register for this program and know that their liability is only $1,000 and.
No. You would have to invest in the program itself, the training program, which is thousands, and execute that throughout your company before you could even get that.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, thank you.
And and if I can, just for the sake of saying it, last time I was here, I was very, very frustrated because it was a willful decision by an employee that wasn't as invested in our business as we were. Because we do the right training, and we can prove that we do the right training, this kind of protects me a little bit because we are doing the right training. Who's at fault here? Yes, Kenjo is, but, and I've got the video here if you wanted to see it, she made a willful decision, sitting there flirting, throwing her hair around, trying to flirt with this cadet that was in there. And we didn't train her to do that. We trained her to scan it.
Well, I appreciate that you have done extra effort and gone through it. It's just we haven't had this before, and I haven't seen this in 6 years, so this is actually pretty interesting. And maybe it does help long-term, but I think every employer is always at the risk of an employee do something really stupid, no matter what it is, whether it's a beer permit or a health or a violation in the kitchen or anything else in between. So thank you for the information.
Right. You're welcome.
Commissioner Frazier?
Okay, now, there we go. I'm sorry. We're having technical issues. To follow up with Commissioner Jay, what's the criteria to become a responsible vendor?
All of the criteria I would hesitate to say right here, but it has to do with the training standards that the state has set out, and to have a program that implements that teaches that tests that, and you pass the test, you prove that you know it.
When did you become a responsible vendor? What year?
Well, the certificate that I hold here in front of me has an effective date of 2023 with an expiration of 24, but it's at least 5-6 years now.
Okay, so this was something you kind of pursued
Honestly,
as a response.
it really came about when we got our wine license.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So, you're
And I do want to say, although I'm sad to see you here again, that I do want to applaud your efforts in taking those measures. I mean,
Well, we
that's,
take it seriously. I mean, it's our business.
well, that's what we
and-
hope that everyone would do, is really take it seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions. I want to speak to Commissioner Frazier also, that you've been down here, but you really are taking responsibility, and we appreciate you doing the training and that kind of stuff. And we know it's hard right now with employees, but I appreciate that you reach out to your district commissioner, and we can see your frustration that you're here again. So I appreciate that. With no other questions, I will turn this over to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, and I do appreciate the conversation that we had. I too hear your frustration. I might also note to commissioners that they've had their license since 1993. So I think this also indicates just some changing trends we've seen collectively in the difficulty with being able to hire people that are as invested in your business as you wish they would be. I do applaud your effort. I think bringing in a training manager and placing him in that store is extraordinary, given how old that store is and how long it's been around.
She
But I
wasn't
do-
that happy, but
Well, it's what it is, you know, and you don't want to close, and
correct.
quite frankly, this business is located in the community of Solway. There's not a lot of businesses down there, and, you know, it would not be good for the community either, although it's certainly not good that they're selling beer, but you get that part of it.
Right, exactly.
So, anyway, following the advice of Director Moyers, you will be fined $1,000 for this third violation. And I do think I did make you aware that it takes 3 years for
Correct.
a prior violations to roll off. All
Oh,
right.
and one other thing we did, I failed to mention this, we do our own beer stings internally. We've tripled the frequency at that store, so just know that we did that too. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
good to know, good to know. All right, all right.
We have, perfect, thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? None, and the motion carries. Good luck, sir. Thank you. Next item, please.
The next one is Westland Market, 9233 Westland Drive, and it's District 5.
If you give us your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Bhavik Kumar Patel, 9233 Westland Drive, Knoxville.
All right, let's hear the report from the Sheriff's Department.
On February 5th, 2024, at 17:33 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Office Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an alcohol compliance check at several Knox County businesses. The 19-year-old entered Shell gas station located at 9233 Westland Drive and selected a six-pack of Miller Lite beer, then went to the register. The cashier asked the underage person to see his ID. The underage person handed the defendant his military ID that had his name, birthday, and photo on it, and showed the defendant on the ID the birthday where it was located. The defendant sold the beer to the underage person, and they were misdemeanor cited.
All right, sir, you've heard the allegation. How do you plead on that?
Guilty, sir.
All right, sir, do you want to tell us what happened?
I mean, I'm sorry, just he checked the ID and somehow he did not find the date of birth, and he just sold it.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I will turn it over to Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You may not realize, because you're a fairly recent owner, but that property where your store is located got special dispensation from Knox County. Because it's across the street from an elementary school that Knox County maintains, and because that property was zoned for commercial uses, I think back in the 50s or 60s, the original owners got special permission to do that and get a beer permit. It's also very discouraging because the young lady sitting to my right, who is a junior commissioner this evening, she lives in the subdivision adjoining your business and goes by that, your business multiple times a week. as well as I do, because I live near that store. So it's sad that a business that is located directly across the street from an elementary school is in this situation. So I'm going to make a motion to offer you a 30-day suspension or a $1,000 fine. Is my motion.
Are you?
Yes.
Mine is.
A fine, I'm sorry. I go with fine.
So my motion is to, because they've admitted guilt, a $1,000 fine for this infraction.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner Schoonmaker, a second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Next item, please.
The next one is Corns Food Mart, 7551 Oak Ridge Highway, and it's District 6.
All right, ma'am, if you give us your name and address for the record, please.
Poonam Patel. Poonam Patel, Khan's Food Mart, 7551 Oak Ridge Highway, Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right. Report from the Sheriff's Department.
On February 5th, 2024, at 18:55 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Office Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an alcohol compliance check at several Knox County businesses. The 19-year-old entered the market located at 7551 Oak Ridge Highway and selected a six-pack of Yingling beer and went to the register. The cashier asked the underage person to see his ID. The underage person handed the defendant his military ID that had his name, birthday, and photo on it and showed the defendant where the ID and birthday were located.
All right, ma'am, you've heard the allegation. Do you plead guilty or not guilty to that?
Guilty.
Okay, you want to tell us what happened?
He asked for ID, but I don't know why. She just make a mistake, and I'm so sorry for that.
Has he been terminated? Did you terminate the employee?
Yes, we did.
Could we get your first and last name, please?
There you go.
Poonam Patel. Punam Patel, Patel.
All right, do we have any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Schoonmaker, is your light still on? Do you have a, okay, I just wanted to make sure. Seeing no question, Commissioner Daly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to jump on with Commissioner Schoonmaker that how can you, the driver's license are this way for me and that way for these young men. I don't see how you can mess that up. I really don't. Even if you don't have the scanner, how could you mess that up? Did you, now you said this was a military license, right? Is it turned? It's still turned the same way as far as regular driver's license. And for you too, sir, you know, can you explain to me why you did you know that it used or turned vertical, not horizontal?
And she didn't do the selling, to be clear.
She didn't?
This was
Okay.
not her sale, this is her business.
Well, it sounded like she sold it, so.
No, she did not sell it. Did you
Well,
sell
make
it?
sure-
No, it's the employer, my employer.
Yeah,
you
make sure
terminated.
that they know that if it's vertical, just hand it back to them and tell them to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from commissioners? Seeing none, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. I do note that you've had your license since 2015, so I hate that this happened. I appreciate you took corrective action immediately by terminating the employee. As required by our state law, your be offered a $1,000 fine or a 30-day suspension.
Fine.
All right? I'd like to make a motion, please, that the $1,000 fine be enacted for this violation.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill and a second by Commissioner Frazier. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for coming. If we have no more business in front of Knox County Beer Board, we are, Commissioner Daley.
Just for the record, call for the first one again. And then we'll just,
Thank you for reminding me of that.
That's Fuji's Japanese Grill.
This is in Commissioner Schoonmaker's district, if you would like to reach out.
I will. It's kind of ironic because we've been watching for this location to reopen after the remodeling. It's been going on for months and months and months. And on my way back from Nashville last night, my wife texted me and said, "Hey, should we have Fuji tonight?" And I was like, yes. And so I was going to give them a hard time about that. But anyways, we're just glad they're open. I'm sorry that they're missing an opportunity for.
Hopefully, they'll be here next month. Commissioner Ward?
There you go. On the military ID, I just Googled them, and I don't see what the date of birth is. Where is the date of birth on the military ID?
If I'm not mistaken, it's on the back.
That's what I thought, not on the front of the ID, like a normal ID would be.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I have one, but mine's different, and I know of 3 different military IDs just off the top of my head, actually 4 that I think about it. So which one of the 4 IDs is it? Because each one's orientated differently.
I think the young man is in the.
Is it a CAC ID?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It was the other detective that went with him.
Okay, okay. I would prefer if we do these in the future that we don't use military IDs because of these kind of situation. We don't even know what kind of ID it is, and it's a little uneasy for me thinking about it like that.
I mean, it is issued by the government, so
I get
it's
that.
technically.
I get that I get that. I'm not saying that they're right, but.
Right.
If I'm a veteran, I don't even know where it is on the card, and I'm Googling it, I don't know where it is on the card. It's a little difficult. So, on the back, right? Yeah. But do you have a dependent ID, right? Which is, yeah. So, but they're different, each one's different, because I don't think mine has it on it, but I'll check.
I guess that it's per branch, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not quite, I don't know if I have my wallet. Yeah, I do have my wallet. But, yeah, mine's not on the front, and mine's not on the back.
Well, you look older than 18.
Yeah, I look older than 18, I guess. So, but, yeah, that's true, but it's also different for guard units. There's like 4 at least. I know 4 off the top of my head I can think of that are all different. So, just trying to clarify.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, and if any owners of businesses that sell beer are listening to that, make sure that you're paying attention to the back and wherever it could be on the military ID. Seeing no other business in front of Knox County Beer Board, I call this an adjourned meeting.